Good evening, YouTube. We have a very special guest here tonight on the Spinfast show. It's our second interview in 2018, and I would very much like to welcome Nick Willard here,
What's
aka
up, guys?
Wild Willy. And some of you might know him from some drone racing show called DRL, and he's actually right in the middle of some shootings, if I'm not mistaken. And DRL has been recording 2 races already this year.
Yep, three so far,
Yes,
technically.
3 so far. Nick, to start off, I see you're still like living in the same room that we've seen for a couple of episodes on DRL. Are you? When did you earn enough money to buy yourself like a Kanye West villa stuff, like a
Um,
mansion?
I don't. I never earned enough. I am currently paying it only via student loans.
Student loans. Okay, so
Yeah,
so you have
for
no.
university.
Okay, so but you are in the good position that you don't have to pay for your quads anymore right now.
Oh, for quads? No, generally I don't. Um, I mean, I don't get many parts in general now because I've kind of just accumulated so much like stuff over the last like 3 years that, and especially the last like 6 months or so, I have not flown nearly as much as I'd like to. So I haven't been breaking stuff, but I haven't built a quad in probably 8 months now at this point. And I've been kind of just flying the stuff that I have, and when it breaks, just go to the backup. But yeah, for I think 4 months now, I've literally had only one working quad. That's been just kind of the workhorse. Anytime I go out, has been taking the full brunt of my explosions, and thank God has been holding up.
I
But
see.
yeah, I haven't built a lot of stuff, and so I haven't really got new parts or really new anything. But I mean, for most part, if I wouldn't have to pay for most of the stuff quad wise.
When you started out, like in early 2015, is that right?
Yeah. What are we in 2018?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it'd be 2015.
So I've seen some of your old videos where you kind of like tried the first juicy runs, where you tried to fly as smooth as the old tech let you fly back then. And what was it like in those days? Like, did you pop a quad every day, or how did that go? How did you get into like getting into a daily basis, and what was going on there? Did you have some friends who lend you material when you just popped another on a tree or a bridge, or what was that like?
I mean, for the most part, I paid for back then, paid for all my crap, and that's why I used like the cheap Chinese knockoff stuff. Like I used clones for the first like year and a half, like exclusively. I literally just could not physically afford to flying non crap gear.
But it flew,
But
and you got your practice hours.
yeah, it flew. It flew like garbage, but it definitely did get it got airborne by. Oh, you're speaking technically. uh, but no, it was. I do admit, like a lot of the times, if I like urgently needed parts, Schizo was actually usually really helpful in like lending me stuff. Like if I was just actually like really needed stuff and was just incapable of getting it. Like there'd be times where like I blew an ESC or something, and he'd have one on hand, and he would just be like, "Here, just take it. I've got like five of these." So he was very helpful. A lot of the time, growing up in FPV.
So yeah, and that must have been the time you got into the Atlanta crew somehow.
Yeah,
I think
it's
you met
about
Kevin.
right around that time. Yeah, I met Kevin and John right about at the same time.
Hmm. I see. Okay.
Actually, I met Kevin first, and I think about I met Kevin a decent bit before I met John.
And were these guys like, oh, there's this young guy who can, you know, like do this flippy floppity stuff pretty good, or we're gonna just take him on the ride and see what we can learn from him, or were they like, I don't know, Is this ever going to be a good pilot?
Yeah, no,
He's just
that's what it was like. It was more so like, oh my god, this dude is terrible to like be around. Like his flying is terrible. I mean, I don't think you get how bad I was for like probably the first, 2 years. I was very sketchy, probably like early on, but it wasn't until I kind of because everything until probably 6 months to a year of me flying with like the Atlanta guys. I was flying was just for funsies, and I never really cared about getting better. But after flying with them and getting a little more serious about it, I had a very quick progression curve that I hit about a year and a half in.
Did you reach that without simulators at all?
No, actually, my first winter, I played FPV Freerider for like 9 hours a day, every single day. I switched to pinch over the winter because when I was playing the simulator, I didn't even have a neck strap, so it like sat in my lap, and it was like uncomfortable to thumb it. It was more comfortable to pinch it with it like sitting in my lap, and so I just like I didn't know about thumbing or pinching. I didn't know there was like two different things. Like it's just when it was sitting literally in my lap, it was just my hands just naturally pinched it, and I flew it like that for like an entire winter, and then I went back out to fly, when it got warm again, like outdoors, and all of a sudden I was like, oh, this feels weird. I'm holding the controller differently now.
Personally, my interest would just be like, do you still have freezing fingers now, or did it get better or worse? Because I'm a thumber as well. Thumbing is this guy, so if just in case you might not notice, this is pinching, and my two fingers here, those two are always freezing cold. Even if I sit long hours at the PC, those two are too cold. So does it stop when you're?
Wait, what do you mean? Like, your fingers get too cold when you
Yeah,
fly? Like,
they're the furthest away from my heart, And as an ex-smoker, I might have some serious blood pressure problems that is not, pumping enough blood in my fingers here. So
have you tried
that's at
turning the
least
heat up?
doesn't work. Doesn't work. So I was thinking maybe if I go this, then it
Um, well, I can
it
definitely say
works.
that I've never had cold issues with or without pinching, so
Okay, just my
I
imagination then.
give it a shot. Let's see that'd be interesting. Like you can tell people pinching prevents cold fingers.
That would be an idea, or maybe an idea for a new product. A friend of mine has like put a 6S into his Turnigy casing, and he has heat pads under his Tyrannus and stuff. So he wasn't giving a fuck about the cold weather in Germany this year. So he was out flying anytime, and we were kind of envy him, all day. Like we're standing in the freezing cold there. So
Oh god, I don't know how you guys deal with the freezing cold there.
we don't actually. Yeah, in Germany it's not fun, but that was the time now when I got into simulation really hard, and I think I made progress through simulation. That's why I asked you. And
Yeah, I mean, the simulators definitely help a ton. I mean, I definitely, definitely say that, if you, especially if you're starting out, the simulator does help a lot for like that first, like when you're like learn rather than like later on in your like drone career to the point where you're like perfecting and like tweaking every like little bit. Um, like early on when you're just trying to build like muscle memory and like go from the part where rather than like your brain thinks I want to do this maneuver and then translates it to I need to move this sticks and then tells your fingers to do the sticks. You just go from I want to do this move and then boom, the quad does it. Like creating that like connected pathway in your brain is extremely helpful and can be done through simulator stuff and like doesn't necessarily have to be done like out flying like in real life. But when you're trying to perfect that like last like 15-20% of your flying, that's where the simulator kind of breaks down.
yeah, especially on new moves, is very helpful. Like a couple of weeks ago, those videos from your opponent in DRL, Robogenesis, popped up on YouTube, and everybody saw his overhead knife edge. Do you have a name for that trick actually, or is it just called the Robo?
God, I don't know.
Well, actually, he's flying overhead, or he's upside down, knife edging objects like trees and such, or he's basically doing the backwards whip while
Yeah, I
circling
think
around it.
that's kind of like it's like a Matty stunts kind of deal, but different.
He's
I don't know. It's interesting. It's very I mean it's super cool, but it's like a Matty Stunts kind of move that he like took and perfected to be like ridiculous looking.
yeah, and actually took I took liftoff and this Hanover map. You know, I'm from Hanover, so I'm obviously I have a deep connection to this map, but it also has the perfect object to try this. And I've spent like, I don't know, maybe 2, 3, 4 hours straight just trying to circle around this object like he does, and it still won't. It still won't, swing like he does, and so I'm still
Yeah,
missing a part of the muscle memory. I know how it should work, but I don't know. My fingers just won't do it.
yeah. I mean that's one of the things that's like it's hard, especially when you see a trick that's cool, but you don't like know the stick movements. So you try like you know what you want it to look like, but like trying to like create in your brain like how the sticks need to move to look like that, like without someone like showing you or without like getting it. It's one of those things. It's like it's impossible to do until you do it once and then you get it. And like once you do it that one time and you kind of figure it out, then it's like, oh, that's it. And then it's just like it just clicks. But like that trying to like the process of figuring out how to do it and what the sticks need to do is the most difficult part of learning like new tricks and stuff like that.
How does it work when you get to a new location on those races like DRL? How many rounds can you practice before you actually need to do a heat run against your other opponents there?
Um, so we do. So in general, it's 10 practice stuff before you actually have to before what you see like on TV starts happening. Um, we do 4 rounds of practice, um, like peer practice. You know, nothing. It's just whatever. They'll still time you on it, but like we don't actually finish in the finish net, so like times are, kind of just like rough guesses to see how your pace holds up. Then we do 2 time trial batteries, and then your time trials seed you for a ranking round. In ranking rounds, the same exact format as semifinals. 2 groups of 6, points, heads up racing, points based on finish order. And we do 4 or 5 rounds of that, and then your total points from ranking round then seeds you into semifinals, and then that's when you actually compete for elimination.
Okay, so my guess is that DRL has the goal, at least, to build up tracks that have not been created like this before. And
Oh, that's like the whole like their biggest thing is how do we create like the coolest looking track.
so you are facing many, many situations during the course that you have never flown in this particular order or in this follow up. Like you've flown like a power loop gate and then some split ass and something totally different. So you have to adapt in those 10 rounds of practice, and you have to muscle memorize your movements. And how does that work? How do you progress in such short phases?
Well, I mean, so this is like that. It's you know cool that you bring that up because that's something that especially like when new pilots come in for the season and they're just kind of like like how do I practice for DRL and like you really can't like you can't. It's not like for like practicing for multi IGP stuff like those tracks are all relatively the same. There's like a set group of, stuff of
Yeah.
obstacles and gates that they use, and you can, for 99.99% of their races, except for like the championship, you can go out and practice all of that. But even when the championship event comes along, they always add cool gates in and like really cool obstacles, but they're never something that's like fake, really really hard to do and
Yeah.
survive. They're things that are hard to do fast, but they're never things that are usually like difficult like just to complete. Um, but with DRL stuff, it's just kind of like you just have to be really good at like rapidly adapting to very new and uncomfortable situations. And I mean, you basically the best way to do that is to just when you're flying always be trying out new uncomfortable stuff, like fitting through gaps way smaller than you're used to, and like pulling a corkscrew power loop through an awning. Like you just have to be so creative with your own tracks that you need to put that in to how you practice, and then constantly be like, all right, I did that weird thing for 5 batteries, now swap and do something else, and try and
Mhm.
get used to adapting to new uncomfortable things in kind of like a very systematic manner in the least amount of packs.
Do
You
you
can't just
have?
like honestly, you can't just go in and just like everyone you come in, you just go balls out like, I'm gonna just rip this course element super fast. Like you have to kind of take a very analytical approach and be like, all right, the first battery I'm going to do it this way, and then you have to like really like mentally like prepare yourself to like slowly work your way up to doing like new weird things properly.
So is it like you can exchange your experience from your best 3 runs then with the other guys? It's like, can you talk to the others, or are they just, oh no, I got my secret sauce here and I got my
Oh no,
points?
we all it's funny. We all know that we probably shouldn't tell each other how we're taking every gate or how we're doing stuff, but we still do it. And it's hilarious because we'll just be sitting there and be like, yeah, man, like I couldn't get like that over under gate, I don't know how I'm gonna come into that. And like, oh yeah, man, you just come in from the right side, you just corkscrew right out of that. Like, oh, that makes so much sense. Like, no, I probably shouldn't have told you that, but
Oh
whatever.
well,
Like we're just like we don't care. It's whatever. Because I mean, like
that's cool.
like knowing how to do it is only 15% of the battle. Actually executing it is something that is entirely different.
Yeah. So, but it's not like everybody's ending up with the same lines afterwards, because we've seen that it's not happening in last year's episode. So everybody's like still trying their own fly style, especially if you have such crazy guys like, I don't know, like, yeah, our German guy Max Trolley, who has been definitely flying totally different lines and totally ahead of everybody, and then crashing for multiple reasons. Or if you have like, I don't know how Robo Genesis is performing right now, but I bet he has some crazy ass shit coming there. I don't know. I asked you a couple of times, you couldn't tell me, so I'm not bothering you anymore. But I'm very excited, and I hope the crowds are as well, to see what's coming at August. Okay, thank you for that interesting insight, Nick. I'm pretty sure we're gonna be like screeching at the screens to reach August and to reach September, to get some new drone racing on TV here in Germany. And yeah, I think I can put together more than half an hour from that material. And
Oh God, are you only doing? Is this podcast only half an hour?
now we are talking for an hour now,
Sweet.
but I'm definitely not including everything we just talked about. Just need to wrap it up a little bit. I think people, their attention span is so short,
I also ramble on for hours on everything.
and Already said goodbye. Did I say goodbye? I said good luck in the DRL. So, Nick, thanks for tuning in here in Germany. And before you go to bed again, now you drank a lot of coffee, I've seen.
Oh yeah,
Um,
I've been pounding the cold brew. I've got a whole day's of stuff ahead of me.
yeah, good luck with that. And still hoping to see you in Germany this year. Well, maybe we can figure something out. Last word hasn't been spoken in this case. So yeah, thank you again
Yeah,
for your time, and looking forward to see some new freestyle videos from you also.
yeah, man.
If you find
I'm
time.
fervently working on new stuff right now. So I've got probably 5 videos queued, ready to edit. So I'll be hitting that hard, covering all the stuff I've done in the last couple months.
That's good. We want to see new stuff. Juicy. Especially the juicy flick. You need to do another video on this because I don't know. That video with Bodwell was good, but I still cannot do it, so your video must have been faulty.
Yeah. I mean, there's a ton of stuff I really want to do, ton of new content. I'm really looking at creating and pushing out there. I need to get back in the swing of things. My Premiere needs to get used a little bit more.
Yeah. Okay. Looking forward to that, and have a good day, Nick, and see you soon.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man. It was a pleasure.
Bye bye.